Hello everyone and welcome to the final part of the series where I listen to music from every single country in the world. This is the fourth and, as I already said, final part, so please check out the other three if you haven't already, they're great. Well, with that out of the way, remember that this is all my personal opinion, please don't argue about politics in the comments, leave a like, subscribe, feel free to share opinions in the comments, and let's begin with Qatar. Hadi or Had One, I don't know. This millennium.
More than just a lyricist. In a good mood, I'm chilling and doing what I want, where I want, when I want, with the squad, with the people that I know on a roll, yeah, we killing it.
I really enjoyed this one. The music here is alternative internet core hip hop, but more ambient and relaxed than other such releases. But what really made this one awesome is that it's a concept album talking about a cyberpunk dystopia in the year 10,000 and the struggle of the main character to make any impact on anything.
Couldn't care less about the system. Time gave me closure, gave me wisdom. Only at night do they blow out the business, so nobody witness the fact that they're famous.
I think you should really listen to it, especially since the artist has lyrics written out on the Bandcamp page for the album. Romania, Phoenix, nume. Half of the songs from this album were censored because otherwise it would go so hard that it would be a threat to Ceausescu's cult of personality. But even in its release date, it's awesome and goes incredibly hard. Some people say this was the first Romanian album released in Romania, and if that's the case, the beginning of Romania's music industry is awesome. Great album. Russia, Grazdanskaya Oborona. Grazdanskaya Oborona, aka Grob or just GO, is one of the most famous Russian post-punk / just punk bands, known for the anti-authoritarian and philosophical lyrics done in a stream of consciousness style by Yegor Letov, the band's frontman.
География подлости, орфография ненависти, апология невежества, мифология оптимизма, законы гаубицы благонравия, знатные пиршества благоразумия, устами ребенка глаголит яма, устами ребенка глаголит пуля. Вечность пахнет нефтью.
I knew from the get-go that this is the band I'll show from Russia. I mean, how many other bands you know who have a massive attack cover of their songs? But it was very hard to choose one album, since Letov has two very distinct phases of his career. The incredibly noisy, very politically charged punk of the Soviet era, and the more psychedelic and philosophical sound of the post-Soviet times. Just listen to this song, which was on both Geo's first and last albums, to hear the difference. Due to that, I think this band deserves two albums to show the two sides of this band and this man's work. First, Soviet era album, Здорово и вечно.
Вот и все, что было. Не было и нету.
This is Grazdanskaya Oborona at its rawest and noisiest point, with the most politically charged lyrics that literally start with the cover. The title translates to Good and Eternal, and the landscape of the cover is, well, yeah. Although originally the cover looked more like this, because no way the Soviet Union allows something as radical as this to be released. Letov was actually put into an asylum by the KGB for his comments for some time and only doubled down after his release. every line here is a critique of authoritarianism.
Всем благим начинаниями ток ГУЛАГ, всем благим начинаниями ток конвой, всем благим начинаниями ток Дахау, всем благим начинаниями ток пиздец. На всей планете мертвый сезон.
War
Вот везде распустились, я вернулся с полигона вместе с верной дулей в голове.
and the government as a whole.
Строитель коммунизма обожает коммунизм. Сотрудник КГБ одобряет КГБ. Любая правильная пуля любит свой пулемет. Партия, ум, честь и совесть эпохи. Здорово и вечно.
The album is very harsh even for punk, but it's worth a listen if you have the lyrics on hand. Seriously, Google translating the lyrics as you listen to this is worth the effort. Post-Soviet era album. Егория Пизденевши «100 лет одиночества». Now you may ask, wait, that's a different band. Weren't we just talking about Гражданская оборона? To which I reply, this is Letov side project from the 90s, basically what The Smile is to Radiohead. The lyrics here are much more surreal, cryptic and abstract, featuring a lot of metaphors, self-contradictions and references to literature.
Под столетними сугробами библейских анекдотов, похотливых православных и прожорливых католиков, покинутых окопов и горящих муравейников. Вечная весна в одиночной камере.
The theme here is more philosophical and introspective, there's barely any politics.
Вначале было слово, все слова пиздёж.
What this album also excels at is the sound. It creates a very unique blend of punk and psychedelia infused with synths, fuzzy guitars, spoken word and all sorts of experimentation.
Свои подумали, что я чужой, чужие заподозрили, что я ебанулся, и все они решили, что я опасен.
Many fans in Russia consider this Letov's best album, and I have to agree. It's not only lyrically deep and thematically complex, but it's also relatively accessible sound-wise and can be appreciated for its psy-punk melodies and experimentation, even if you don't know Russian.
Просроченный билетик на повторный сеанс.
If you wanna listen to Letov's fork, I would say «100 лет одиночества» is the best place to start. Rwanda. Bizmungu diudonne inzovu yilrimindi. I really like this one. It's very cozy, cute and comfortable. It's like this couple invited you to their house to drink some tea and play their songs to you. I also find it really cute that there's this one song about mountains of Rwanda that got so big they made 2 songs out of it.
Rwanda ruteze neza mubisiza nebiyaga imirambe n'inkomane n'urusobe rw'ibirunga urwezero n'urukari n'imwimana mu sharo irere Rwanda rutengamaye mu misozi myeze igihumbi isoreze imirambi n'ibibaya.
Sadly, both these people died during Rwandan genocide, but this tape captures life before that, when, even for a moment, everything was fine. Highly recommend. St. Kitts and Nevis, Coca-Cola Cornet Steel Orchestra, pan vibes. Your classic tropical shebang, but all of the instruments here are steel pans, a traditional Caribbean instrument which makes it feel unique among other tropical albums. There are quite a few covers here, even one Mozart song which sounds so weird in this tropical arrangement. Also yes, this band is sponsored by Coca-Cola. There seem to be quite a few of these corporate steel pan bands in the Caribbean back in the day. For instance, I found one from Trinidad sponsored by petroleum company Esso, which has a song about returning to Monkey and escaping pollution. Ironic. Despite the ad in the name, the Coca-Cola band from St. Kitts and Nevis doesn't have any ads in the music, it's just a fun listen. Now, let me just put it on my Pepsi-themed shelf. Saint Lucia, DJ Cengiz, Saint Lucian Kuduro mixtape.
What you want? Arch me back go down, wine and turn around, baddest in a town. Them I wanna try, that body that's so light, but me look for the army guy.
Once again, I'll be honest, I only listen to side A since side B is only on Bandcamp, but I don't think it's a big problem since it's still 33 minutes of pure goofiness. This is the dumbest music ever and I'm all here for it. It has weird fast-paced drum machines, beats that come out of nowhere and leave to the same nowhere,
Don't feel your bad like me, baby. Well, hear me now. She tell me when it come to a club place, I fling down how she bad. I hold she by she hips and tell she tonight I'm your camera.
and of course producer tags that just randomly
Rocking to the sounds of
Saint Vincent and the Grenadines, Saint Vincent Super Sound Latin Irish Orchestra, Saint Vincent Super Sound Latin Irish Orchestra. This album is not on Spotify, nor is it on YouTube, so you're seeing some exclusive content here. I've managed to find this album, which I thought was lost, on a website called Afro Sunny, which is owned by Sunnyboy66, a YouTube channel that preserves old music, which just makes it even weirder that it's not uploaded on YouTube. In any case, I think this was worth the trouble. It's lush orchestral funk that just sounds like some sort of a big, colorful carnival. There are also some really nice psychedelic synth-driven tracks.
Still I don't know what makes it grow. Who said to wait and you'll see?
I hope that Sunnyboy66 uploads this on YouTube as it's a really nice listen. Or maybe I'll do it myself later if there won't be any copyright issues.
Hey, I'm coming. Help me, baby. Lord. I'm coming, baby. Hey.
Samoa, The Golden Ali's Popular Sounds of Samoa Volume 1. This is exactly the type of music you imagine when you think about tiny tropical Pacific islands. It hits way different when you listen to it in your jacket while hoping it won't snow in May. San Marino, Betelgeuse, Day by Day.
Met you, and I was again lost in my mind.
I was ready ready to say that this is just an okay melancholic alternative rock, nice but not very unique, when in the second to last song, out of nowhere, they played a cover of the Soviet military march. That had the same impact as if your local military veteran band performed Buddy Holly by Weezer. Yeah, that made this one memorable by itself. Sao Tome and Principe, Africa. No, this is not a slur, we already encountered this word in part 1 with Angola, it just means black in Portuguese. Antologia Volume 1. I usually don't enjoy tropical albums, but on very rare occasions I find some I'll actually like. This is one of them, probably because of the psychedelic guitar. It may not be my favorite album ever, but it's very solid. Saudi Arabia, Msilma, Dhil und Taht Shajarat al-Zakum. This is another hidden gem. It's basically Sophie meets Björk in an Arabic desert. From Sophie there's the percussion heavy industrial pop style. From Björk, the feeling you're soaring above the skies of an alien planet. This album also has a trait very unusual for industrial. It's ambient-like, even relaxing at times, although it's also clearly melancholic and anxious. Senegal, Abin Ghana Diop, Little. Is this industrial hip-hop?
No, this is Patrick.
In all seriousness, it's local music, but I'm still in a bit of a disbelief that this isn't industrial hip-hop or anything like that, because it seems to check everything on the Death Grips checklist. Vocalists screaming from the top of their lungs? Check. Insane, fast, frantic drumming? Check. Synths? Yep, they're there. Hell, this one even has samples. I understand that comparing folk poetry drumming to industrial is not fully correct, but that's legitimately how it sounds, and this is the only thing I know if I can compare it to. I'm still not even sure what on earth I just listened to and how traditional music even evolved into this. Сербия. Идоли, отбранные последней дани. This one often ranks as the best album of ex-Yugoslavia, and it definitely deserves that title. The post-punk and new wave are great, and there's a lot of variety and experimentation. Some songs are active, others are relaxing. Some are almost industrial. And some sound like a weird sort of space folk. Great album, I recommend it. Seychelles, Grace Barbie, Walala.
Wake up, feel the music. It's called Afro Sega. Pas besoin de casser tout problème pour oublier.
After first listen I had nothing to say besides decent tropical album, but after a re-listen I really enjoyed it. It's basically tropical upbeat motifs mixed with soul, especially when synths appear. Some sort of nostalgic jazz, Buena Vista social club type music. And some French influence. Quite a cool blend. Also, a shout out goes to Les Îles Seychelles by Le Groupe Stillwaters because 1. They have the most accidentally manic laugh track ever. And 2, besides just tropical songs, around half of the album is local music, which I can only describe as time traveler's strength to play breakcore before electricity was invented. Sierra Leone, Mouye Power, Sierra Leone in 1970s USA. This album has no business being this funky. I can also classify many moments from here as goofy goober music for some reason. It's a really nice listen. Singapore, Yuli, Soft Scars. This album nearly made me cry. One commenter on YouTube described this album as something like a digital angel singing to you, tears streaming from their internet eyes. And I think this is the best way to describe it.
I was impressed by his walking like in movies, film bloom, break the camera.
This is an album of internet age, of internet emotions, from an artist who even named their project after a Final Fantasy character, and it's awesome. The listen in general felt weirdly comfortable in a sort of digital way. Also, if you think that Yuli moved out of Singapore way too early on for them to count, I can recommend Sob's Air Guitar, which is like an album full of openings for a 2000s TV show that never existed. Slovakia, без ладу а складу, Ксметов. This album is unique because it can sound both dark and goofy at the same time. This happens because it's infused with the DNA of two genres. Zolo, if you don't know what Zolo is, that's what Diva were doing, which always strives to be chaotic, experimental and wacky. And post-punk, which, as we know, becomes very depressing when it meets Eastern Bloc. This album can also sound very sci-fi because it has bleeps and also bloops. A really fun listen. Slovenia, Laibach, Opus Dei.
Life. Life is life. Life is life.
Slovenians are often memed at for being femboys, but these are femme men. These guys are sometimes compared to Rammstein, but there's one big difference. While Rammstein sound like a 10-hour shift at the mines, Laibach sounds more like a 10-hour shift building a tank or some other war machine.
You are in black darkness and confusion. You have been hugger-muggered and Karen-shitted in.
Also, remember how when I described Luxembourg's Rome in part 3, I mentioned the genre martial industrial. Well, Laibach puts the industrial in martial. There's a lot of percussion, heavy guitars, synths, all mixed with marching rhythms and horns. Because of the militaristic aesthetic, Laibach are actually sometimes accused of being pro-dictatorship. But there is also a good case to be made that Laibach are just trolling. There's a level of kitsch in their music, especially considering the fact that one of their biggest gimmicks is making metal industrial military covers of popular non-metal bands, like the Beatles or Queen. Opus Dei actually has a Queen cover.
Nicht falsch, nicht recht. Ich sag es dir, das Schwarz und Weiß ist kein Beweis. Nicht tot, nicht Not. Wir brauchen bloß ein Leitbild für die Welt.
Laibach is also known for being the first European band to perform in the DPRK, and just imagine being a North Korean who only listened to the same 3 pop bands for your whole life, but then you hear this.
My heart wants to beat.
Your brain would probably explode. Solomon Islands. Narisirato Warato. In my opinion, this is another hidden gem and one of my favorite albums from Oceania. They use traditional elements and motifs to create these beautiful pieces that are, in my opinion, still very accessible for people unfamiliar with traditional music of the area because of its great production and melodies that can even remind rock playing on traditional instruments, despite that not being the case. I recommend this one, probably the best pick when it comes to Oceania. Somalia, Durdur Band, Volume 5. Second hidden gem in a row. This one makes me wanna go to the middle of a desert, build a small hotel there, and play this album there non-stop. I understand that this explanation is both oddly specific and kinda vague, but that's how I felt. It also for sure will make you smile. I listen to this on a rainy day, and usually I enjoy sad music on rainy days, but this album pierced through the rain and gave me a very good mood. Highly recommend. South Africa. John Wizards. John Wizards. At first, I was planning to put grindcore band Xalvig Mafas, It Me Voanam Duot Rab Kvap Vaipovks here, because if it isn't the best band name ever. But John Wizards are just too good, even if I miss out on a joke. Their music I can only describe as zany, as it just refuses to fit into any genre that I know of. There are some hints of Fishmans here due to the summer vibes. Something from 100 Gags due to the autotune and goofy nature. And something from Animal Collective due to the themes. You can only understand John Wizards by listening to John Wizards, and I suggest you do so. Also, zero idea why isn't this popular with internet music nerds. It has everything for that. Spain, Morente and Lagartijenik or Lagartienik, I don't know how to pronounce this, Omega. So, this album is a collaboration between a famous flamenco singer and an alternative rock band, featuring lyrics by Leonard Cohen, the guy who wrote Hallelujah, and famous Spanish writer Federico Garcia Lorca. That sounds intriguing even if you haven't heard any songs from the album. Half of the tracks here are mostly just flamenco, and while they are really nice, especially with the emotional vocals, I'd say the meat of this album is in the other half of the songs. These are some insane, apocalyptic flamenco rock hybrids with these futuristic, grandiose sounds which remind me a lot of post-rock. Maybe even with a pinch of metal. It's an insane experience that I highly recommend. Sri Lanka, Genocide Shrines, Manipuri Imperial, Death of Okovli, Scriptures of Reversed Purana Dhar Murder. These guys do war metal, which is a subgenre of black metal, with lyrics themed around darker parts of Hinduism. Basically doing what Satanism is to Christianity, I guess. Zero idea. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not well versed in Hinduism and it's really hard to guess by the sound, because while there are folk moments, it's mostly just devastating slow riffs, followed by an auditory airstrike. And yet, somehow this isn't even the most harsh thing in Sri Lankan metal scene. They literally have noise bands there. And if you don't like auditory airstrikes, I mean, fair, I suggest you check out Goring by Boss Sedkit. It's a really decent avant-garde hip-hop with songs ranging from beautiful melancholic guitars accompanied by 808s to spoken word to trap with folk samples to one song that's just straight up industrial. That's a really cool album. Sudan, Jantra, synthesized Sudan, Austro-Nubian electronic juggler dance sounds from the Fashaga underground. The name is a mouthful, but the album is great. Austro-Nubian is probably the best way to describe it. It uses traditional motifs but played with those psychedelic synths that make you feel like you're in a desert on some alien planet. Those things kinda reminded me of Butterfly 3000 by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Maybe they use the same hardware. Drum patterns here are fast and lively, making this one very danceable and bustling, just like the city on the cover. Overall, this is definitely one of my favorite electronic records in Africa. If it's not obvious yet, I highly recommend it. South Sudan, Gordon Kwang, Unity.
Asylum seeker, we know you're waiting for your permanent protection visa. We know you've been waiting for a long time.
It's very happy despite all the hardships the author, who was born blind and fled to Australia due to the civil war, had to experience. I have huge respect to the guy. He is the great example of an indomitable human spirit which can live through anything. As for the music itself, the instrumentation, despite consisting of only 3 instruments, is very rich. I also really like the message of the song Tile Neini Valkeran. Quote from the YouTube description. We don't have a problem with anyone. Music is the friend of everyone in the world. We're doing it with happiness. We love people. We love our audience, and we know our audience loves us. We don't have any problem. I couldn't have said it better myself. I really recommend this album if you like African music, and I wish the best for Gordon. Suriname, Dropati, let's sing and dance. No, this is not a mistake, and this is not an Indian album. The reason why tabla drums and Indian harmoniums are in Suriname is way more apparent when you find out around a quarter of the population there is of Indian descent. So, of course, their ancestors brought their music with them, creating a whole genre called Baitha Ghana, which sounds like if Indian folk musicians decided to do the drumlines Caribbean style. It seems like this would never work, but it actually does, and does so quite well. Sweden, Blady and Deca 2K, Crest.
Suffering stops, bodies drop, flowers sprout, burn by and long.
Awesome alternative hip hop record, you'll enjoy it if you like stuff like breakcore or hyperpop. This album is slower than those two genres, but it still feels a lot like them, using many similar techniques. It definitely deserves its popularity. Switzerland. Paysage divers, paysage divers. This is probably the coldest album ever. It sounds like being lost in the mountains during a harsh winter. The guitar here is so lo-fi that it just turns into a wall of static, sounding like a real snowstorm. But then, through that snowstorm, you hear an instrument playing, and when that instrument comes, that honestly makes me feel like I'm ascending. Is this album for everyone? No, it's noisy even by black metal standards. Like, the drums here are replaced with tapping the microphone. But will it be incredible if it clicks with you? Undoubtedly, the atmosphere on display here is insane. Syria, Omar Suleiman, Shlon.
شلون يا ول شلون مكحلة جوزة العيون.
I like this album, but I can't really recommend it because it's very dumb and people will look at me weird if I did. This is the cheesiest Arabic pop ever! Yet, I think that in the alternate reality where Arabic pop got popular instead of K-pop, this was the Gangnam Style.
حب تخدشتك فيني من عذابي تشفيني.
Although, if I had to pick one Omar Suleiman song that is the Arabic pop's Gangnam Style, that would be Warni Warni. It's very cheesy, very dumb, but also very fun and very danceable. I don't even know why I enjoyed it so much. Probably because it's just simply a good album and I should stop hanging around music elitists. Also, apparently Björk worked with this guy, so thanks Björk for making me less insecure about liking funny Arabic pop, man. Honestly, Omar Suleiman had such a huge glow up from performing at local weddings to working with people like Björk. Also, one last thing about Omar Suleiman. As I was editing this, I found a Reddit comment saying that Omar Suleiman always wears sunglasses because he shoots lasers out of his eyes. And that's so Omar Suleiman that I just think this is true now. Yeah, Omar Suleiman can totally shoot lasers out of his eyes. Taiwan! Once again a reminder, please don't argue about politics in the comments. Good? Okay. Mung Tong, Tao Fire. modern reimagining of Chinese music featuring synths and rock elements fused with traditional motifs. It's cool and works really well. The sound is varied in mood as well, ranging from ecstatic, sometimes even outright silly, to a bit melancholic.
You know you cannot win this war. Your rich leaders grow richer while you're dying in the swamp TI.
To more mysterious, like a soundtrack to a dungeon in a video game. Also, I just need to mention the cover. It's like Chinese Sgt. Pepper. I love this style. Tajikistan. Звуковая артель только 2 раза. It seems to be just a bit amateur sort of post-punk music with Vincent funny vocals. But it unexpectedly has given me nostalgia for something I've never been through. I've never been in a band while studying in Dushanbe College in 1992. Hell, I've never even been in a college rock band, nor in Dushanbe, nor in 1992. Yet this weird, oddly specific situation I've never even been in is kind of what I get nostalgia for listening to this.
Marino, ты помнишь наши встречи и пламенные речи, тот незабвенный вечер.
It's quite a nice listen, even without this weird nostalgia I described.
Небесный пилот, вот парня везет.
Tanzania. Various artists, sounds of seesaw. I can only describe this as African brain rot hyperpop. Great stuff, I love it. Gives 100 geeks a run for their money, they wish they could sound like that. Seriously, I'm not sure the levels of digital lobotomy reached here on songs like Ndugulu Wama are even possible to be reached ever again. Thailand. Khanarung Thavi.
สดดนตรีพื้นบ้านหนองโกชุดที่ 8+9
This is the long season of cheap casino music, and that's despite the fact that casinos are banned in Thailand. Album that feels both shorter and longer than its runtime. The only thing that's both unironically good and so bad it's good at the same time. Wild stuff. Togo. Akofa kusa, akofa kusa.
Ayati salama, mabaji mama, bontenaya.
Some decent African pop rock. It might be a bit generic, but it's still good. Tonga, the Kingdom of Tonga cultural group Kafaola. First half of this album is mostly very boring, consisting nearly entirely of long spoken word choir. The intro with a nose flute was the biggest and probably the coolest exception. But the second part was really enjoyable. Kingdom of Tonga legit made me want to visit the country.
Kingdom of Tonga, the only one in Polynesia.
And other songs in the second part are just straight up cute. Trinidad and Tobago, Shadow, Sweet Sweet Dreams. After Jamaica with its reggae, Trinidad is probably the second biggest center of Caribbean music. This island is the birthplace of Calypso, which is the second genre you probably imagine when hearing Caribbean music, right after reggae.
If you see the woman with a flag in she hand, she bounce she belly, telling everybody.
Hip-hoppy rapsa that prominently features happy melodies with dark political lyrics. My favorite staple of Caribbean music.
In July 1945, the first test atomic bomb was exploded. 3 weeks later at 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, it was Hiroshima.
Steel pan bands. In the Caribbean, chutney, which, unlike the Surinamese album from earlier, is usually less folky and more...
Your face is like an angel, your body like a cocoa.
And soca, the modernized, poppy, danceable calypso version. This album is an example of, and boy is it funky. Some songs here have some clear reggae influence. Some are funk inspired with the really fun guitar and synths.
We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party. We're gonna have a party.
Some even weirdly reminded me of Tame Impala, who, by the way, wasn't even born at that point. I think that happened due to the grandiose scenes and the warm atmosphere. There's also this kind of vibe that many VHS aesthetic artists like Jack Stauber go for. But here it's purely natural because, well, it's from that era.
Keep on dreaming of that special someday. That very, very special someday.
Definitely worth a listen. Tunisia, Ifriqiya Electric, Lailet El Bouri. this one is really cool. These guys took traditional drum-driven music with this one singer in the chorus singing style and turned it into an insane industrial work. The album sounds post-apocalyptic and reminds me not of African folk but of industrial bands like Einstürzende Neubauten, especially of their song Futter Mein Ego. I highly recommend this one. Turkey, Air King Koray Electronic Turkulör. One of the landmark albums of Anatolian rock, mixing psychedelic rock and Turkish folk, which creates something distinctively oriental and distinctively rocky at the same time. Cool combo! Turku has an insane, hard to describe vibe to it.
Bizim dostlar, bizim dostlar, bizim dostlar, bizim dostlar, bizim.
And Heli Yar is stuck in my head, so now it will be stuck in yours too. Turkmenistan. Gunesh Vidju Zemlyu. Soviet sci-fi movies have a very unique, surreal aesthetic, and music plays a big part in it. This album is exactly that, beautiful, surreal Soviet sci-fi music, music of weird, faraway worlds. It also has some traditional Turkmen and Indian motifs, but even then it doesn't sound like music from Earth. It becomes music of faraway desert planets and jungles full of alien plants. Also yes, Turkmenistan is the country with the rapping dictator, but sadly he has no album, so no dictator rap today, sorry. Tuvalu. Various artists. Tuvalu, a Polynesian atoll society. I don't know how much of a dumb westerner will I be when I say that this one felt very shamanic. It has little instruments, only a few drums here and there, and mainly consists of traditional chanting and singing. Some of these songs felt like they're sang to me as a lullaby by some nice old grandma. Some felt like music sung during working. Some like myths about ancient gods, some are church music. It drags a bit in the middle when the novelty wears off, but then it introduces more drums. bass and even guitar. Honestly, we're so lucky this compilation exists, because otherwise Tuvalu would probably be like Nauru, where everything is either lost or on Spotify, which I just don't like using. Wait, I'm getting a call. Yeah? What? The Nauru Christian pop EP is now on YouTube? Stop everything, we're reviewing that now. Nauru, Skilla, Trials of Your Faith.
It's reality, all reality, face reality, world reality.
I don't use Spotify, now for pretty obvious reasons. So this EP being uploaded on YouTube pretty much unlocked it for me, and it's actually good, thanks God. This one bumped Nauru up from the most disappointing country by far to one with quite good music.
I don't know how you let him treat you like that, lady. 'Cause he ain't never gonna change. He's gonna do the same thing over and over again.
The sound here is a mix of pop and soul with quite a lot of variety. For instance, there's a flamenco guitar in the first track.
I can't handle all the pressure. I can't handle all. It happens to me all the time. It happens to me all the time.
The vocals of the girl were probably the biggest highlight. Her voice is legit golden. Overall, it's a very enjoyable short listen that left me in a pleasant mood, especially since Nauru now has something to show. The only thing left is finding that lost album. Uganda, Nihiloxica, Kaloli. You know it's a good album when you can world build a whole story off of it without lyrics. This one feels like a person from an idyllic village coming to this giant, dirty city and being unable to adapt to it. It's dark, grimy, with traditional African drums being used with apocalyptic electronic beats. Definitely one of my favorite African electronic albums, if not the most favorite. Can't recommend this enough. Also, while we're still talking about Uganda, I need to mention Ugandan label and festival host Nyegi Nyegi Tapes, who mainly specialize on African electronic music, but also produced albums from the Caribbean, South America and Southeast Asia. They not only worked with Nihiloxica, although not on Kaloli, but also produced my picks for Tanzania, Kenya and St. Lucia, as well as albums from Angola, the DRC, South Africa, Mali, French territory of Reunion, Brazil and Indonesia, that aren't in this video. Although it's never too late to do shoutouts. Angolan album by DJ Znobia, which turned the local reggaeton-like genre of kuduro into something dark and industrial. Was really enjoyable and definitely deserves a mention, if not being my outright new pick for Angola. Which is even more impressive considering that the original genre is like reggaeton. Okay, back to Nyegi Nyegi. To get the idea how based Nyegi Nyegi Tapes really is, they hired freaking Wakaliwood to make a promotional short movie for their festival.
Back
in action. Challenge to the rescue. Wow! Superheroes. Ugandan X-Men. They are good.
Yeah, the guys who made the cinematic masterpiece that is Who Killed Captain Alex. I recommend this label as much as the album. Ukraine! Цукор біла смерть, манірна музика. This one honestly left me speechless because of how unique this is and how much of an emotional roller coaster this album was. Soundtracks here sound very creepy, like a musical uncanny valley, too dissonant to sound normal, but too structured to enter the outright comical region of something like Trout Mask Replica. Soundtracks here invoke the feelings of anxiety, like being in a haunted house. Soundtracks are beautifully melancholic. And some are even relaxing. As you already understood from the snippets, the sound is very unique. It's like Swan's soundtracks for the blind meets the books meets Daniel Johnston, but even that description barely scratches the surface here. In the end, I had only one question. How is this not a popular album among the internet music crowd who love obscure stuff? It seems to be perfect in that regard. United Arab Emirates, Katia Crow, Whispers from the Block Obscure. It's a really good drawn album. The mood ranges from really relaxing to horrifying. The vibes are there, it's really atmospheric. I liked it, but I don't know what to add, it's just an enjoyable album. Also, I wanna mention Ediha Al-Minhalis album with a name in Arabic, because it's a decent pop record. But most importantly, because of the second song here. Yeah, you might not hear it right now, but if I just do a little tweak... Yep, that's why I thought I should mention this one. United Kingdom, The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Apparently Apple Records is known for copyright striking, so not gonna risk it here, sorry, have some Beatles bloopers.
Did you make it with your phone?
Choosing an album for the UK was quite hard, because there's a lot of stuff here. There's The Beatles, Radiohead, Aphex Twin, Boards of Canada, Black Sabbath. I chose this one because this album holds up very well to this day, and this album is basically what got me into music. Definitely a deserved classic.
For the benefit of Mr. Kyle. Iced water.
United States of America, Swans, Soundtracks for the Blind. Another one that has a lot of stuff. So much that I can make a one album for every state video. Let me know if you would like to see that. I could have chosen a hip hop album. Any of these? Or maybe some rock or metal. Any of these? Or just go ahead and choose Weezer. I chose Swans because this album is very haunting and emotional. Probably one of my favorite albums ever, just due to how strong the emotions it invokes are.
You were wrong to resist me. I was wrong to forgive.
Uruguay, Los Shakers, La Conferencia Secreta del Totos Bar.
The sound of the band, we wish you had it now. Beep, 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 bang. Shoo, 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 shine. Beep, 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 bang. Don't leave me, don't leave me.
In the 60s, when the US was obsessed with British bands, down south, a similar phenomenon was happening, with bands from Uruguay in Argentina. Los Shakers were pretty much the Beatles of this Uruguayan invasion, yeah, that's how it's called, being directly inspired by them. La Conferencia was often compared to Sgt. Pepper's, and while it's less experimental and has less out there instrumentation, probably because these guys couldn't afford as much synths and instruments as the Fab Four, it still has that psychedelic 60s sound where you can definitely feel the Beatles' influence. Quite a nice, fun album.
Love for the lovers, love to the love that reached the end.
Uzbekistan, Sevara Narakhan, Yolbolsin. So remember how in part 3 I said that I often search for stuff that mixes local traditions with genres I already like? This is such an album, mixing Uzbek folk with alternative pop. My two favorite songs here were the title track and Galdir. Galdir is just so freaking emotional, just pure melancholy. As for the title track, I think Brainrot has reached me, because my first thought was Tamerlan Drip. Vanuatu, Sunshiners, Sunshiners.
Forever playing to the gallery, you take the long way home. You take the long way home.
It's reggae, and I don't listen to a lot of reggae, especially since it was the first reggae album I've listened to in this challenge. Yeah, even before Bob Marley. So I don't have many albums to compare it to, though I quite liked it.
Here's a plea from my heart to you. Nobody knows me as well as you do.
It has a reggae cover of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, that's cool.
Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world.
And that cover is definitely not related to the call I'm getting. Hello? Oh, it's a cover band, and all songs here are reggae covers of famous artists.
It's a shame.
It can be cool, like when they did AC/DC in their second album. but it's not really music from Vanuatu, so I think a second band is a good idea here. Vanuatu take 2, Tio Surusian.
Save my soul, hear the wind of our ocean blows.
I'm so glad I've decided to listen to a second album, because this is really cool. This album has a distinct beach vibe, but the day is rainy, so the music sounds really melancholic and bittersweet.
Headlong pigeon, bullets fall down on some rain.
Sad summer albums are not something you often see, so this is always nice to find.
Beat him long morning, beat him long summer, sound and me fly through long mountain far away.
Heck, they even made the ukulele sound bittersweet. Yeah, the jolly little guitar thing. I honestly didn't think that was even possible.
Black butterfly flying nowhere, nowhere.
Vatican City, Pope Francis, Wake Up. This section was mostly scripted before the passing of the late Pope Francis, with only a few changes made afterwards. Rest in peace and excuse me if this feels too snarky.
En el pueblo argentino, yo se los pido de corazón a los ancianos, no claudiquen de ser
a debut album of this guy from the tiniest country in the world. Pope Francis is not a known musician, but as much as I wanna support the musical underdog who is new to the industry here, I will have to say, remember Batyushka, the Polish black metal band from part 3? Yeah, Batyushka did it better. Wake Up is a Christian prog album best described as inoffensive. Most of the time it seems to be afraid to be bold and stand out, instead playing it very safe, which leads to a sound that's mostly just a bit bland. There are also a lot of long spoken word passages here, and often they're incorporated very awkwardly. The music just stops for 2 or so minutes. No quiet ambient, nothing, just spoken word.
Cuidar la hermana tierra, la madre tierra, para que no responda con la destrucción.
Sometimes during the same song, these passages can be both incorporated well.
Que ella nos haga discípulos como lo fue ella y misioneros como también lo fue ella.
And added awkwardly somehow.
Ai, che promettono illusioni, da coloro che hanno uno sguardo avido di vita facile.
But there's one song that has none of these issues. That song is Wake Up, Go, Go Forward. It's a certified banger, very ambitious and perfectly incorporates spoken word in the most peaceful part of the song.
It is the duty to be vigilant, not to allow the pressures, the temptations, and the sins of ourselves or others to dull our sensibility to the beauty of holiness.
I wish more of this album was like this, and I hope that the upcoming Chicago Vatican musician Leo XVI will use this one song as the inspiration for his possible debut album. Venezuela, Arca Mutant. A very good IDM experimental album. Once again, Arca is a pretty obvious pick for Venezuela, but it's really a good one, and she deserves her popularity. Vietnam. Rank up doi. Ngun gain gain gay tant he. I probably butchered that. Pure digital epicness. If we live in a simulation, this is how it would sound like when it glitches out and collapses. A must listen if you like internetcore music like breakcore, glitch and hyperpop. Western Sahara! And I think for the last time I need to remind you, please don't argue about politics in the comments. Group Duen, Chevu, Dakla Sahara Sessions. This one is awesome. Sahara has a lot of great rock music, as we already saw, but this one is insanely instrumentally rich, diverse, and combines African psychedelic rock with genres such as post-punk. I've never seen anything like this. Very highly recommend this one. Go listen to it. Although, I think I should mention that this album is from Morocco-controlled part of Western Sahara, and considering the extremely complex political situation of the region, I think it's only fair to include another album from the Sahrawi-controlled part. That album will be Western Sahara, Sahrawi-controlled part, El Wali Tiris. There's no exact info about where these guys are from, but considering their politically charged lyrics, it's pretty safe to assume they're from the Sahrawi area. In any case, despite text talking about the fight for independence, the sound of this album is not militaristic at all. It's very upbeat and relaxed, with psychedelic guitar and a lot of funky synths. It's a lot like desert blues. With the lyrics, it gives a feeling of hope. Life may be tough right now, but despite everything, these musicians are still themselves, singing about the bright future where everything will be fine. Yemen. Various artists, Kat, Kofi and Kambus, Raw 45s from Yemen. Before talking about this one, I need to clarify. Kat is a drug that is popular in Yemen and Kambus is a Yemeni lute. I was very intrigued by the name and thought this would be psychedelic garage rock. Turns out it's something I can only call Arabic garage folk. Not at all what I was expecting, but still very cool. First track seems very industrial to me. It should be sampled by Death Grips. Other tracks are more melodic and hypnotic. Some are almost psychedelic. general, it feels like walking through the tiny streets of Sana'a, Yemen's capital. Very interesting listen. Zambia, Witch, Lazy Bones.
Your money won't tell you story.
Zambian Zamrock scene is one of the most famous out of all underground local rock scenes. And while I won't say it's better than all other ones, they're all awesome. It's popular for a reason. Lazy Bones is an awesome album. The title track never fails to make me dance. Just like Blue Mokhtar, Douglas Sakara Sessions and Flash of the Spirit, this is a great choice if you're interested in African music. Zimbabwe, Bundu Boys, True Jit. It's chill, warm and happy and has quite a bit of variety. The guitar playing is interesting, making guitar sound kinda like marimba or kalimba.
This song is dedicated to all our brothers and sisters who were fighting for our liberation in Zimbabwe.
Some songs like My Foolish Heart have the stereotypical Africa safari motifs, but the country of origin and especially the high quality of the songs make them turn from stereotypical into authentic. Overall, it's a cute album, which I think is pretty good as an ending for the series. Well, that's it! This has been a wild ride, but now I can certainly say that even though I may not listen to everything, I definitely listen to everywhere. I really hope you enjoyed this series and found some cool music to listen to. Once again, I ask you to leave a like, subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so you won't miss any future uploads. Goodbye!